Well, good morning, everyone. This is John Craig, and it is good to be with you on this Monday edition of Let Us Reason Together as I try to get my camera focused in just right here. And it is good that you're joining us. And I have some special co-hosts with me today that I'll be introducing to y'all here just as soon as we get through our introduction. And so what is Let Us Reason Together and what is it about here on the Monday morning edition? Well, this is where we get together and sit down, reason out current events, cultural shifts, and of course this week's Torah portion, and we can either push back or push through. Nevertheless, if iron does not sharpen iron, sparks will never fly, let alone ever get a fire going. And without a little heat and a good midrash, how will our hearts ever get soft and moldable enough to be transformed in the way that the Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, wants us to be, and have a little fun along the way? I hope we're going to have a little fun along the way because there's so many different things that we got to talk about as well today during Let Us Reason Together. Of course, we've got the headlines around the world that you're not going to hear anywhere else. We've got shower thoughts waiting for you just around the corner, things that'll make you think differently. Yes, so stay tuned for that. And also, we have the Torah portion, and we're going to be talking about Shoftim in this week's Torah portion. And of course, on the uncensored part of Let Us Reason Together, we've got some news that we need to break and talk about and reason out. So what is today? It is Monday, August the 9th, 2021. It is the 24th day. Wait a minute. That's not right. I didn't change my date on my notes. It's not the 24th day because last week was the 24th day of Av. Today is the first day of the 6th month, and some call that the month of Elul. So the first day, which is basically telling us we have 40 days until Yom Kippur. Isn't that exciting? And then, of course, followed shortly behind Yom Kippur is going to be Sukkot 5 days later. So get ready. Today is the countdown to the fall feast. Of course, you can always say we're always on a countdown. And so therefore, what I want to do is bring in our special co-host, Mark David Smith. Good morning, Mark.
Mouse not working.
There we go.
Mouse wasn't working right. Every once in a while, my mouse freezes up. Oh, I forgot to shut my curtain. All my boxes and everything getting ready for Sukkot is all added up back here. So let me pull these here so everybody don't get freaked out. Like, where's he at? What is all that about? Oh, no. Now I'm not going to be able to feel my air conditioning because my air conditioning is behind the curtain. So, oh, well, hey, life is great. At the, on Simchat Torah, which is the 8th day of Sukkot, we always used to say, what was it? 358 days till Sukkot.
There you go. Well, I tell you what, I am excited about this year's Sukkot as we are, putting all those things together and we're getting close to the day. I'm just excited. I'm ready to just remove myself and get over there. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready. I'm ready.
Ain't no thing, man. It's just another 8 days of the year. I know. ain't no big deal. We do it. It's so funny. We used to talk about this at Sukkot. It's like I remember Brenda Wheeler. Brenda and I used to sit and talk about the Moedim and all kinds of stuff. Brenda and her husband Doug and I were real good friends. We'd sit around and talk about this stuff. And she was telling me one time that, it's like, wow, it'll be great when we just are at Sukkot, the year round. We should I just wish it was the year round. It's so great. And I'm going, well, but then it wouldn't be exciting anymore. it would just be an everyday thing. It would just be the way we live. But by the fact that the Lord set all the Moedim up to come, at specific times, of course, but just once a year you get to do this, and every one of them, even Yom Kippur, you look forward to it because of what comes out of it and what the Lord gives you and everything. Like each one of these Moedim are special, and you look forward to them because they only come once a year.
That's right.
So anyway, I remember Brenda and I talking about that. But anyway,
well, there was something that's very interesting too. That if you look at the constellations that are in the sky, this is just kind of a side note. Kind of take this. So look at the sky. Oh, I can't see it.
Trying.
Okay, I can't see it right now, but because there's a ceiling over my head. But if you go outside and you look at the constellations, what's really cool is that the constellation is like a clock and it moves. So every month a new constellation is showing up and is in the center of the view. Well, we just left the constellation of the Lion, or it might be Leo. Somebody call, that's what they call it on certain things. But so the Lion of the tribe of Judah is moving, and right on the tail is the Virgin. The Virgin. So what's very interesting is that these are the 40 days of where the Virgin, the bride of Messiah, is in preparation for the Day of Atonement. The bride of Messiah, and of course, don't forget about the Feast of Trumpets, which, is the sound of the bridegroom, blowing that and what it is, it's the midnight hour. So you have the shift of the constellation, and where does it show up on the clock? It's at the midnight point of the clock. So the Virgin shows up on the tail of the Lion, and then takes us to the sound of the shofar at the Feast of Trumpets, which leads us to the wedding day and the wedding feast in the fall feast. Cool. Isn't that cool?
That's really cool. I like it. It's just amazing how the Lord sets all this up. Even the stinking stars in the sky, man. What do you do?
That's right. They tell a whole story.
I agree. Yeah. I like to do the Feast of Trumpets during Sukkot. That's my favorite time to do the Feast of Trumpets. Feast of Tabernacles. Sorry, Feast of Tabernacles. I like to do the Feast of Tabernacles during Sukkot.
During Sukkot. That's a good time to blend the two together. Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
Blend them. But it's like my milk and my instant breakfast, it's a blending. By the way, I'll let you know, last week I'm fixing breakfast for everybody at Sukkot, and here it is. It's instant chocolate breakfast.
Liquid breakfast. Well, you're so generous, Mark, with your time and your all of the finances you'll put into the breakfast and getting that ready for it. That is just
I'm not buying it. You're buying it.
Okay. All right. That's so cool that you'll take everything and you'll put it together for us.
That's right.
We'll have a big old pot and just stir it up.
A big 5-gallon bucket of milk and instant breakfast. That's right.
Okay.
Hey, you were at Sukkot in Chandler, and they had this walk that was like this stinking big, man. It was like 3-4 feet in diameter across it, and they would cook up our meals and use a shovel, a literal shovel from Ace Hardware, and stir the thing, man. That was serious, It's just
that's funny. That's hilarious.
Fun stuff.
Hey, so here's the verse of the day. This is from this week's not half Torah, but the Brit Hadashah for Shoftim, and it is John. I chose it out of there from John 14, 16, and 17. It says, I will ask the Father, and he will give you another helper, that he may be with you forever. That is the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive because it does not see him or know him, but you know him because he abides with you and will be in you. I like that verse. In fact, I think the whole Brit Hadashah is actually this week is pretty cool as well. So anyway, let's move right along. Hey, so I've got to bring our other co-host in with us today, and that's going to be Miss Sandi Craig, calling Miss Sandi Craig. Miss Sandi Craig. Here she comes. Here she comes. Miss
Here comes Sandi Craig. Here comes Sandi Craig. Right down Sandi Craig Lane.
Okay, we got to do a different song. Here comes Sandy. Here comes.
I'm not familiar with that either. Mark, sing me Pink Panther.
All of her cats and all of her raccoons are eating her candy canes.
Okay, guys, Mark, do you not remember my intro song? Da-dum, 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 da-da.
That's right. Well,
That's my intro song. And all the rest, those are awful, and I will never come in again to those songs.
Not true.
Come on.
True.
Come on.
No.
Well, I can put it together. It just wouldn't take very much.
Well, all I know is that Mark's original theme song for me was fine. I like that one. But yours, Mr. Craig,
you didn't like that? Oh, come on.
And hello,
now.
Bob and Marilyn, and all you guys who are here with us. I don't even know who they all are, but I know Bob and Marilyn are there.
Yeah, we have Penny's in there, and hey, we got Messianic Lamb Network is in there too.
I think that's us.
Oh, okay. We got Joe. Joe's in there.
Joe.
Yeah. So good morning to every one of y'all. Appreciate y'all joining us. And there's New Day. Yeah. Hallelujah.
Hey.
So, okay. Are y'all ready? Y'all ready for the headlines? Do we have our intro ready to go?
Should we say how discerning it is for us not to have Eddie and Tammy here with us?
Oh, you know what? I do. I miss Eddie and Tammy. We need to be praying for them. They are traveling. I think it's the last load. It's the last load from North Carolina down to Florida.
Yeah.
And welcome Twyla. Twyla's with us today.
Yeah. So bless Eddie and Tammy as they are on the road, and watch over them, protect them, and give them safe journeys, protections, protect them from all harm and danger while they're traveling, and anything that would try to upset the journey. Let it be. In fact, Father, let's just let it be totally boring because you've got it all taken care of.
No, let him have divine
and divine appointments. There you go.
Even.
Well, I'm talking about,
I know what you're talking about, but when I pray, when I travel, I want God's glory to fill my vehicle and me to have an amazing encounter with him and others all along the way.
There you go. Amen. All right. Hey, let's take it in.
All right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Hey, can you tell I've lost 18 pounds in the past month and a half?
Oh my goodness. Well,
Donna's been gone.
Well,
so what do you eat when Donna's not there cooking you your meals?
His breakfast.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Liquid breakfast.
I eat anything I want to eat, but there's a process. But I have. As of yesterday morning, I had lost 18 pounds since she left for Oklahoma the first time.
Wow. Well, all I know when John's out, I'll have fruit and vegetables, a bowl of cereal, or a bowl of soup. That's pretty much what I eat when he's not around. So
yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Let's get on with the show. I'm sorry. My brain scattered this morning.
All right then. Well, let's just that's changed up. Let's bring on the shower thoughts and headlines. So here we go. All righty then. Okay, so these are the headlines from around the world, headlines that you're not going to hear anywhere else. And just to say that we live in interesting times. Okay, so here's the first headline. Woman missing since she got lost.
Wow.
Yeah.
Revelational.
Just
profound revelation is what that is.
Hey, yeah.
That's
So,
right. That's right.
okay, so that was one headline that I came across, and here's okay, I know. Okay, I understand this. We don't do Christmas. But many people around the world do Christmas. This is a Christmas headline. And so I just wanted to put it on the table for every one of us to reflect on. Okay. All right. So it's a Christmas miracle. You
better get to your thing,
All
or
right.
you're going to lose
Here
us.
we go. Couple wed Christmas Day 60 decades ago.
Okay.
60 decades ago.
Yeah.
600.
Oh, I see.
Six-
Oh, I get it. Yeah. Sorry.
600 years ago.
Our brain don't click to some of those things. That's
See, you got to be paying attention on that. Isn't that a Christmas miracle?
They are old.
What Marilyn say? What, go read that.
If you ever,
Go ahead and read that.
If you ever get bored, you can bring the taser and call them the shower shocks.
Oh, there you go. Good. That's right.
That could be a skit at Sukkot.
Shower shocks. Well, all I want to say is that Sandi has a taser, and I'm glad I did not get her the ones that has shoots out the shocks, with the stringer things on it, because she'd probably see if it worked in the shower on me. Like, hey, Sparky.
All I can think of is them tying a rope to the person going into the Holy of Holies, so that if anything happened, they can pull them out. It's kind of like I see Sandi with the taser and the strings on it hitting you so she can pull you out of the shower. Just a thought. Just a shower thought.
It's a shower thought. That's right.
They are incorrect shower thoughts, but I guess they're y'all's shower thoughts nonetheless.
Nonetheless. Yeah. Okay. Well, how about this one? 3-week-old corpse doing better. Family tells coroner.
That makes that
3-week-old corpse doing better. Family tells coroner.
It's illegal to keep a dead body in your house. It is illegal. That is illegal.
What was that? So what was that show? Weekend at Bernie's or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just prop them up. We're not ready to let them go yet.
They were breaking the law.
All right. I was thinking you might know more of the story on that one, Mark, but
well, that was the story. Is that keeping them in their house. And that's against the law in most states. Not all states, but most states.
All right. So how about this one? Woman falls in hospital, told to call ambulance.
Call an ambulance.
Woman falls in hospital, told to call ambulance. That's really sad. It's like, you better call an ambulance.
Wait, maybe they don't have an ER there.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe that hospital doesn't have an ER.
Yeah, but you go to the ER to go to the hospital. They're already in the hospital. It doesn't make sense.
Help me. I've fallen. I can't get up.
Well, if this hospital didn't have an ER, you'd call an ambulance so they could get the lady and take her to a hospital that has an ER. So she's fallen, you see. It's logical. It's very logical.
So logical.
All righty.
Yeah,
then.
I just don't know of a hospital without an ER in this country.
Never mind.
Okay. There are. Okay. How about this one? And this will be the last one before we go into the actual shower thoughts. I know everybody's been waiting for, because I got some good ones today. How about this one? Food linked to all eating disorders. Let me say it again. Food linked to all eating disorders.
Okay, Mark.
Or food linked to all eating disorders.
Yeah. Who?
All I can say is one more time, and you and I have said this again, and you've told me the answer is millennials. But what person employs people that would write these headlines?
Well, I want to ask you, would you have this doctor? Because there's a quote in the article. It says, it seems that eating disorders are directly linked to eating, said Dr. Leslie Soul.
Again, I wouldn't want that doctor either.
You know, I
So smart.
he's right though. I mean, he's right. So let him be right.
Shopping issues are directly. I'm going to have a revelational thought in accord with these thoughts. Shopaholics are directly have issues with shopping.
They directly, yeah, that's right.
That's such revelation right there.
Profound. It's just profound.
Yeah.
All right. So those are your headlines from around the world. These
All
are
right.
headlines you're not going to hear anywhere else. And of course, why do we have to bring them up here? I don't know. It's just
we like to smile.
They hit my radar. That's all I can say. All right. So weird and quirky shower thoughts for today. These are those deep thoughts that make you say, okay. So every day, some unsuspecting person does the biggest poop on earth for that day.
That's disgusting.
Well, it's a true statement.
Yeah.
It is a true statement. Probably not one that I would have even considered, but this is a thought for a person that watches sitcoms all day long on TV. They don't do anything 7 days a week but watch sitcoms on TV. They would think about that.
I honestly think that this was a millennial in the shower.
They're all millennial. They're all written by millennials.
Because I don't think I would have ever come up with that shower thought.
I'm specifically wondering why you ever put it on your list. That's gross.
Because I go down the list like that. It's like, well, it's on the list. Let's do that one first.
You know what? Yeah, sort of have discernment and pick and choose the headlines.
You should have seen the ones I edited out. So I did that somehow. Okay, all right. Sorry if that offended anybody. So we move on. And how about this one? It is the salary that I get a bribe to forget my dreams.
That's a shower thought.
That's a good one, though. Anybody that thinks that it just doesn't reason things out, so not that we care. No.
So I don't know. When I came across that one, I said, now that is a thought.
That's a thought. You're right. That is a thought. Uh-huh.
How about this next one? Our stomachs believe all potatoes are mashed potatoes.
Except to those that have no teeth or dentures.
Okay. Bob Hall says, I'm triggered now. Need a safe space. Okay, Bob.
We should have a safe word just in case one of us needs to bow out. Everybody, go ahead.
We'll work on that.
Okay, y'all. Okay, forgive me for this next one, please.
Then why say it?
Okay, because I'm going to say it.
So you ask forgiveness. I always heard it was you do it and then you ask forgiveness later.
I'm going to sandwich it with that. Does my dog take me for a hypocrite because I use?
Oh my goodness! Don't say that word.
Because I use the restroom in the house.
There you go.
What?
Let me say that again. Does my dog take me for a hypocrite because I use the restroom in the house?
Not
I
gonna
see a
answer
theme
that.
here, Mr. Craig. Are you really? What's been on your mind today?
This morning, I had the best. No, I'm just going.
Once again, people who do have these shower thoughts only watch sitcoms all day long.
I was just.
And even worse, some of them even probably watch Disney sitcoms all day long.
Oh, we're losing people here. Okay, moving right along.
Go ahead.
When you say somebody is 1 in a million, then taking into account the current human population, you're really saying that there are 7,500 people exactly like him.
Now that's a good one.
That's a good
one. That'll teach you to watch what you say. Hey, I'm 1 in a million.
Yeah. I just thought I was unique. Okay. All right. And the last one of the day, and it has nothing to do with any of the other ones that we just went over. So but this one is give you something to ponder on. There should seriously be a button on every TV that makes the remote beep. Think about that.
You mean if you lose your remote and you want to find it, and then you just press a button on the TV that tells you where the remote is?
Yeah.
Well, that's a duh thing.
Yeah.
That's not a shower. I wouldn't think
The ones
about
that were
that
better.
in the shower.
I
would think about that when I lost my remote.
Yeah. Not in the shower.
Unless I lost my remote in the shower.
Right.
Which means that I'm not only watching sitcoms all day long, I'm watching them from the shower. Now that is a real problem.
Okay. So what about this? What if it was built into the remote that you had clap on, clap off, and then it would beep at
Same
you.
difference.
But
Same
then your
difference.
lights would turn on and off at the same time.
Same difference, just different, going a different direction. It's not any different at all. So do you guys have a television in your shower?
Not yet.
Wait. Now just wait. When I asked that question, John went as though he had to think whether or not there was a television hanging in the shower or not. That was wrong, John. That was wrong. I mean, there was at least a 3-second hesitation between my question and your answer, brother.
I was trying to actually come up with my thought.
Yeah, right. No,
there was a little pause.
Picturing your shower and whether or not you had installed, and that's only because you thought about doing it.
No, what flashed through my mind, my first thought was, no, I don't have that. Then what flashed through my mind is that I've seen different things on different programming and or whatever, where it's like people put TVs in all these different places. Right. I'm like, why would someone just have to have a TV in the kitchen and a TV in the dining room and all the wall here and all? And I'm thinking, why would they do that? And then you said and you were talking about in the shower, and I'm like, I wonder if some people actually do that. They put in fact, I saw a picture the other day. There was a TV screen in the bathroom. There was one.
Sure.
People are doing that.
What are you watching?
I don't know what I watched. I don't know. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Watch the real estate channel. Y'all know I just got dentures. And the place that I got my dentures, it's a huge dental place, and every single room, where they had the dental chair where you're sitting out like this, you're back in your dental chair and everything, right in front of you, every chair has a television. and they have HGTV playing on the television. As soon, I mean, it's just there. The sound's up and the show's up and the whole thing. Every single chair has a television. Immediately you sit down and the first thought is, oh my God, I'm going to be sitting here for an hour and a half. Why else would they need something to distract my time while I'm waiting for them to come in? Anyway. Yeah.
I figure since the flashpoint causes you to comply and
pacify
you, it's to prepare you for the terrible pain that's about to come afterwards.
I don't know.
They used to just have magazines.
Yeah, exactly. There's now a 14-inch television in front of you while you're sitting there. I literally every time I tell them, can you turn it off? And they don't turn it off. They just turn the sound. They mute the sound. But I can't hear the stinking TV and hear what the dentist is saying at the same time. I can't do two things at once. I'm not like Sandi and can multitask 40 things at one time. I'm not.
And have three different things playing at the same time too.
What?
Yeah, you see me do that.
And three different things playing at the same time.
Yeah. Only women multitask. And so, which is not really, they just say so. There's no such thing. We've talked about that before.
Yeah, right.
Little things.
All right.
So.
Well, I'm just going to wrap it up. As Joe said earlier, it's about sitting. You're sitting while watching sitcoms, right? There you go. Just watch those sitcoms. Fill your mind with nonsense. It's been a long time.
I think we've been filling our mind with nonsense all morning so far on this show. I think we're ready to go for some meat.
Okay. Yeah, we're way.
All right. So there you go. That's a good transition segue to the Torah portion for today.
Are you ready to pull the Torah portion in?
Have you got it, or do I?
He's supposed to. It's his show.
If I can find it. If you've
you
got
like
it, go
that
for
new
it.
list, I like that new list. Makes it a lot easier.
I like it.
It's right there. It's right there.
Here we go.
All right, so here's one more time where I was told I have the Torah portion just minutes before the show.
Woohoo!
So I'm not sure I like that part, but that's okay, because Yah's word, we should always be ready in season and out. And I want us we're going to look at a few concepts in this Torah portion, Shoftim, but we're not going to do it in order. And that's okay, right? Well, that's what we're doing anyway. So I want us to turn to Devarim, or Deuteronomy 20, verse 1, when it says, when you go out to battle against your enemies and see horses and chariots and people more numerous than you, do not be afraid of them, for Yehovah your Elohim is with you, who brought you out from the land of Egypt. So it shall be, when you are on the verge of battle, that the priest shall approach and speak to the people, and he shall say to them, Hear Israel, today you are on the verge of battle with your enemies. Do not let your heart faint. And that word is Yarak Leva. And do not be fearful, and do not panic, or be terrified because of them. For Yehovah your Elohim is he who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies, to save you. So here we have Moshe beginning to remind the children of Israel that what's one of the things that number one thing you hear: do not fear, do not fear, do not be terrified, do not let your heart faint. And because it's the same Yah who was with them then is the same Yah who's with them now. We need to remember that too. And I'm going to bring this around to a purpose. So hold on. So before the battle, the priest will come forth and address the troops with a pep talk, so to speak. And he's going to begin with the first words of the Shema, Hear Israel. But he continues, but he lists three types of fear. Don't be fearful, al-tra, don't panic, al-taqsa, and do not be terrified. Being afraid, okay, where does that come from? Really, it's birthed, it really goes to your heart, and it goes to your trust level for sure. And it is also something that would cause us, our emotions would cause us to fear when we are run by our emotion. And I'm not saying emotion is bad, but when our emotions are driving us, then we may do things that are against the word. And the word is, this is a command, folks. Do not fear. And it's one we need to take hold of today, because we are in the battle ourselves. We are at war. And so therefore, this command is to us: do not be fearful, do not panic, do not be terrified, because that can result in us walking away from the battlefield. What happens if a soldier can become so terrified? They leave the battlefield where they have a position that they're supposed to uphold, to hold the line and to gain the territory. How often do we retreat from our place on the battle line, where Yah has called us to be, doing what he's called us to do, with he leading the way, and we retreat, and then the enemy starts to take ground in our lives, or in our family's life, or in our congregation's life, because we turn around. If that panicked soldier manages if they remain on the battlefield, they might be frozen in fear and not even do the work too. So you have both sides. Are we an effective soldier? Are we effective in our society or in our role to play? Because fear is going to affect the way we see things and affect the way we fight the fight. He's given us the weapons of our warfare. And he is the one that goes before us. He is our shield and buckler. He's the one that makes a way. So our position should be faithfully, assuredly, standing and taking our ground, taking back the ground the enemy has stolen, but also causing the enemy to be the one that retreats, not us. But how does the enemy cause us to do the retreating? So that he can take back or take over. And that is one of the ways, is through fear. And fear comes out of our heart, and we can go from there. But fear is also going to cause us to make incorrect judgments. And this brings us to the beginning of our Torah portion, when we see the command about appointing judges. Okay, shoftim. So let's look at that real quick. Judges. It's Strong's number 8199. It's shafat, and it has a shinafeh and a tet in it. This means, I'm going to give you this real quickly: to burn, to consume is your sheen. Okay, to purify, to change. There's more, but I'm just giving you these definitions, parts of the definitions of these letters first. And then you have the vessel, the mouth. From the heart, the mouth speaks. And fear would cause us to speak something other than what we should. And it deals with it also: out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So here we have this representing this vessel. And then you have the tet, to enclose something hidden in. So when you look at judging from this point, and we're going to look at it a little bit from another advantage point too, it means to judge from a Hebrew definitions means to burn or consume. Therefore, if something's burning or being consumed, it's purifying and it's changing. Okay, the vessel that comes before you from the inside out. So in judging, something should change within those that come before us. We come before him even. It's not ever about proving who's right or wrong. It's about making ourselves right before him, or those that come before us, that we cause his word to cause them to be purified within. Now, let's continue to look at judging and explore that concept a little bit more, because where is judgment made? Judgment's made at the gate, right? And what happens at the gate? At the gate, we see that it's a representation of what that city is going to be like, because the judges would sit at the gate and they would render right and just decisions. Okay. We always hear about judgment being made. Both the judges and the officers are to be appointed by what the people. We look at Devarim 16:18. You shall appoint judges and officers in all your gates, which Yehovah, your Elohim, gives you according to your tribes, and they shall judge Shaphat, the people, with righteous judgment. Okay, righteous judgment. That may seem to be something that's far from us in our society today, But let's think about how fear will affect your judgment and my judgment. If we are being moved by the battlefield, moved off the battlefield through fear, or even if we're on the battlefield and we remain, but fear is what's guiding us and moving us instead of Yah, instead of our trust in Him, our judgment, the judgments that we render and the way we see things are going to be completely distorted. And we will no longer be just judges, determining right and wrong accordingly, but everything will be skewed through the fear that we feel. And therefore, we will look at a situation falsely. We will perceive it falsely. We will look at others because we're moving through fear falsely. And therefore, when we're under unjust decisions, we see that in our society today. Fear moving people to comply with things that they shouldn't be complying with, or going along with authorities going along with authorities that are supposed to be just, that are being moved, they're seeing things through fear, so they will inflict things upon the people instead of being just in what they're doing and what they're saying and how they're governing society. How are we governing our life? How are we governing our family? How are we judging? How are we moving? Are we moving through fear? Which the answer is yes. So much of society is. Or are we rendering just judgments, looking case by case, looking at others and the situation and the circumstances around us through the trust in Him as a soldier on the battlefield, walking in the surety that we've already won the battle. All we have to do is enforce the victory. Are we actually sabotaging the line of battle because our trust is in man and in man's word, or our fear is of man, which is greater than the array of God? And therefore, we are no longer playing on His team. Even though we say we're on His team, fear causes us to move to the other side. We become unjust judges in all the situations. We are moved so that we bring more. We are building up the enemy's kingdom ultimately. And his society and his kingdom gets larger through our fear and through us judging falsely, and instead of trusting Yah. So when you see fear and judgment, I think you can see both of those concepts that we see in this Torah portion play hand in hand, because one can affect the other. And we've got to make sure, since we are supposed to be on the front line and we're not supposed to fear or be terrified or panic, so that we can render just decisions in our life and promote and build His kingdom. And when they see our home, when they see our congregation, when they see our city, they see us at the gates. They see kings and priests at the gates. They see His just judges ruling, and therefore that's a place of shalom. That's a place where the King resides, which is Yeshua. So judging and fear, do they go hand in hand? I would say yes. All right. Silence remains. I guess that didn't hit that. I'm not sure. Come on, talk.
Well, let's bring Mark back in and let's talk about the Torah portion.
I thought I just did.
Yeah.
Well, you covered so many different areas. It's very good. What?
I brought them together.
You brought them together. Yeah. There was many different aspects of it that were very well put, for the fact that you just found out you were doing it seconds before the show. But one of my couple of thoughts is that I think for the average person, especially a person outside of the realm of God, like I can go so deep into this, but for the most part, people don't recognize fear. They don't, even God's people don't recognize fear. And there's so many different aspects of that. I think that it's so easy for most people to have, as with so many other words, one definition. And we're talking about fear. So one definition of fear, one definition of judge, and judgment and all of that, and everything is defined by their one definition of that. And they, for the most part, they don't recognize all those different aspects that you just brought out as being a problem to what's the word I want, to be able to reason different things that they go through. And I was, of course, when I found out Eddie and Tammy weren't here, I went and looked at the Brit Hadashah, which plays into this, which is John 14, 9 through 20. It says, Yeshua said to him, have you been so long and you still don't know me, Philip? Whoever has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, show us the Father? Do you not believe that I am in the Father and the Father is in me? The words that I say to you, I do not speak on my own authority, but the Father who dwells in me does his work. Another one of those realms where we place Yeshua as an entity by himself. It's like when Yeshua came to earth, he already had everything of the kingdom in him. Yeshua was a man just like you and me. And if he was not a man like you and me, then how can we relate to Yeshua? And how can Yeshua relate to us? I think the whole thing here is the words that I speak, I do not speak on my own authority. Really? So we hear this and we say, Yeshua didn't already have all of these, the whole keys to the kingdom and know everything of spiritual things and physical things. He didn't know all of that. No, he says right here, the words that I speak in you, I speak not on my own authority, but the Father who dwells in me does his works. Believe me that I am in the Father and the Father in me, or else on account of the works themselves. We have to understand that once we receive the Spirit of God, I can't think of the verse, but the Holy Spirit works through us. The same thing. It's not Jesus or Yeshua that works through us. It's the Spirit of God that worked through Yeshua. And it's the words that we speak, the same as Yeshua said, the words that I speak, so are coming from the Father. So it's the same thing as fear. And it's what you were talking about is that we have to realize that we no longer have to deal with these, like you were talking about going into battle and having to deal with that fear. To me, it's the same thing. We have a certain kind of fear because it's like, well, I don't know the Word of God good enough. I don't know how to work this or how to make this happen. It's not us that makes it happen. All we have to do is to take that step forward to do what we know God has told us to do, and the Spirit of God will work through us to make it happen. I'm going to give you a really absolute miracle that happened to me last week. This is something that could not be coincidence. It's something that only God could have done. Now, y'all know that I am working really hard. I'm putting a lot of hours into creating lambnetwork.tv. I am working so hard that by March of next year, on our 10th anniversary, we should have a system set up where we have continuous broadcasting, video broadcasting, not just a show here and a show there and a show here and a show there, but you'll be able to go watch continuous like TV. Well, my only drawback was scheduling all these shows. If I'm going to do this, I would literally have to Mark Smith manually get on and produce every single show. I'd have to make every show happen. And that was my drawback. I'm going to do this because I believe the Lord told me this is what we need to do, or what I need to do, what Lamb Network needs to do. But the scheduling part was a nightmare because there is no such thing out there that allows me to do this. Last week, I get up. First thing I do, get on my email. There's an email from StreamYard that says, we are now letting you stream pre-recorded shows and you can schedule them.
That's an hallelujah.
Woo! Right in the middle of all of this I'm trying to put together. What did I do when the Lord told me this is what's going on? I said, yes, Lord. Yes, I don't know how we're going to do this because that's a lot of work to me. But you know what? I'll do it. So I went full force. You guys have got emails from me. Everybody else gets emails. Okay, I'm setting this up. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm getting this ready. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but here we go. And then out of the blue, StreamYard changes its format and allows me to do what I'm doing.
Amen.
Duh. It's so I didn't have a fear of it, John and Sandy. When the Lord told me to do this, I didn't have a fear of it. I knew that it was going to be a challenge and there's a lot of work. I mean, look at where we're at today. This is 9.5 years ago. I didn't know how to make a radio station either, but the Lord told me I was going to do it. Parenthetically, Rico Cortez told me I was going to do it too, but the Lord told me I was going to do it. Rico and I told anyway. And here we are today, 10 years later. I don't know anything about that. I've never been to school. I don't know this stuff. The Lord has placed layer upon layer upon layer. And every time it happens, it's like, okay, I'll go in, figure out and do it. This show today will be rebroadcast later on today, as with all the other shows besides the War Room. All of our other shows are now being rebroadcast at different times. We have different audiences. We have morning audiences, evening audiences, and Sabbath audiences. Now I'm able to rebroadcast like this. It takes seconds to set it up, And now every show that's broadcast in the morning, you can now see at night. All
That's
this
awesome.
only because God came in and did. So I didn't have a fear of it. I just knew that something was going to happen. It was going to happen. And there it comes the Lord. So to me, it's what's in the Brit Hadashah and what you talked about, Sandy. That's my response to that, because there you go. You just, if you know the Lord has something for you to do, don't have a fear of it. Let it happen.
Right.
But you
That's
have
right.
to take the step. You have to take that first step. If you don't, the check's in the mail. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
hey, Lord, you're supposed to give me $100,000. I'll sit here and wait for it to show up in my mail. You know? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, sorry. I'm extremely excited about this because
I am too.
It's coming together and it's just awesome. It's amazingly awesome. So there you go. Sorry I took so much time, but there you go.
Well, no, it's a really good point. And you know, the opposite is true too, because how many times people are motivated only by fear. And so in other words, they will do stuff only because they fear the future. They fear what's approaching, whatever it is, or they fear that, you know, or fear paralyzes them and then they never do anything about it.
But I think we, you know, one of my points was, let's look at society. We've had verdicts rendered, decisions made from people that should be standing the way we believe, they've not stood that way because of fear. So you have unjust judges ruling and reigning in our society right now, in our congregations, in our states, et cetera, because because of fear, and the fear of being exposed, the fear of whatever.
Mhm.
And so what happens? Fear motivates us so that we don't render justly and rule justly. So, that was.
Which really goes into why we need biblical type judges, not ones that are elected, because
But even people of faith that call themselves believers, if they let fear motivate them, can rend false verdicts
that's true.
and judge falsely.
Yep.
So
There you go. So fear paralyzes people from doing the right things, and fear also causes people to make decisions that, because it's not motivated by purpose, by what the Father's telling people to do. It's motivated by their fear of man, their fear of the future, their fear of circumstances, their fear of rejection. All those different things play in. And honestly, that's the biggest motivator of everything that's going on right now in our society is because if you really look at it, fear is a powerful spirit.
It is.
Because you look at everything that's out there, no wonder people are so quick to, put on a face garment or to hide in their houses, or to run to some type of refuge that did God tell them that that's their refuge? Did God tell them that that's their protection? Is, fear is the motivating factor, because people are not running to the spirit of truth, as Mark, you were talking about earlier, bringing in the Brit Hadashah. They're bringing in, they're going to a different spirit, and that's why that God's not given us a spirit of fear, but that of power, love, and a sound mind. But the problem is, it's either the Holy Spirit or it's the fearful spirit. Which one?
What are you being ruled by?
Yeah.
And then it goes back to what Mark just said with the bread and with his own experience, that then we don't become effective in the life that he's called us to live and the things that he's called us to do, because we are so stuck on how it's going to be done, how we're going to get from point A to point B, that we don't step in the water and just do it. So therefore, I look at how many witty ideas and inventions and solutions are missed being given by God's people, because Yah's people are motivated by fear. So they back off and let the world take that position.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
That's right.
Well, very good.
You got to remember, it is the Holy Spirit that does it through us. It's not us. And if God needs to impart wisdom or something that you've never known before, how many times, the three of us, have we been able to do something we've never done before, but God just imparted the wisdom to us to do it?
Yeah.
I can't remember specific instances, but I know that it's happened, and it happens to me every single day with the Lamb Network. Every day. So it's amazing. We have to remember, faith comes by hearing, but it also is that if we don't remember what God has done for us before, we'll not have faith to do the next thing he tells us to do. Somebody's there. Somebody's distracting you guys. Or the dogs the cat, the raccoon.
The dogs are out.
Huh?
Yeah.
The dogs are out, and Sheba, the black dog, I'm concerned she's going into the kitchen and she's going to start guarding. And if she guards, she'll bark.
Yeah.
One of the dogs came through the curtain and went.
That was
Sheba.
Yeah.
Sugar is right beside John.
Sugar's right here. Okay. She's chilling.
Okay. It's the barker that I'm concerned about. So that's distracting me.
Yeah.
All right.
So on the other hand, though, is courage comes when the Holy Spirit's leading us. And therefore, there's no blockage. There's nothing, we won't get paralyzed. We know what we're supposed to do. We know that the funds will come in. We know that the provision is there. We know that there's going to be wisdom beyond our years. We know that, because when that happens, we have courage, and then nothing slows us down. Nothing stops us. And So, yep, there's the growling going on there. But so we need to understand that that's how we. Yeah.
On to the next show, John.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, thank you all. That was a great Torah portion. Sandi, thank you for a short notice for bringing that up and getting that taken care of. And we want y'all to stay tuned for the uncensored news here on the other side.
Oh, hold up. Where's we got to play an intro or an outro here, don't we?
We do.
Okay. It's there we go right there.
Let us reason together.